On the news tonight, National Assembly tasked President Buhari on scarcity of new Naira notes. INEC conducts nationwide mock accreditation ahead of general elections. While on the foreign scene, China urges cool-headed handling of dispute over surveillance balloon. Good evening, and we're glad to have you join us on the major reports. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbuola. The chairman, Senate Committee on the Federal Capital Territory, Senator Smart Adeyemi, has urged the President, Muhammadu Buhari, to reconsider his position to address the current Naira scarcity within the next 7 days. The senator, who is representing Kogi West Senatorial District in the National Assembly, said this while addressing journalists in Abuja. Buhari had promised to address the issue of Naira scarcity within 7 days when he met with the All Progressives Congress governors, but Adeyemi said that the current sufferings of the people were becoming unbearable and pleaded with the president to act immediately to avoid further deaths among the people. He also noted that President Buhari was not a party to the Naira shortage being experienced in the country. However, the problems he believes were caused by those he described as hypocrites on the corridor of power. As part of the solution to the crisis, the senator urged the president to extend the deadline for the Naira swap. Meanwhile, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has called on Nigerians to be patient and show more understanding as everything is being done to correct some of the observed lapses in the implementation of getting the Naira for their daily transactions. In response to the barrage of complaints from Nigerians who are passing through difficulties at a press briefing on the benefits of the Naira redesign policy held in Lagos, Emefiele said that the CBN is aware of the difficulty being faced by Nigerians in accessing the new currency at the initial stages of its issue, and it is trying to correct some of the observed lapses in the implementation of the ambitious program. He also regretted that greedy and malevolent bankers are sabotaging the CBN's efforts. Emefiele, however, assured all Nigerians that the CBN is working with the deposit money banks and other very important stakeholders, such as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Independent and Corrupt Practices Commission, and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, to ensure that the ultimate goal of the new currency meets global standard. In the meantime, the Central Bank of Nigeria needs to be more proactive in combating the effects of the ongoing hoarding of new Naira notes and cash swap that could lead to total economic paralysis. A social critic, Mr. Olusegun Lana, who discussed this after featuring on Osbc TV Current Affairs program Saturday Morning Trade, urged the CBN Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, to allow the free flow of currency in circulation for commercial purposes.
It is very bad that our currency has become a commercial commodity, which is being bought within our own boundaries. It doesn't portend a good omen to the economy. It has adverse effects on the economy, skyrocket inflation, and the root cause is not far-fetched. It is the poor management, the poor implementation of the Naira redesign policy of the CBN. If you want to redesign the Naira, a deadline is not necessary. It is better to allow the two currencies, the old and the new, to coexist indefinitely without any deadline. And you can gradually mop up the old notes through the banking system. If you do that for a while, then because of those who will not bring the old notes to the bank, those people that are keeping heavy amounts in their homes, it is then you can now introduce a deadline at the end of the day at long run. Without controlling the supply and the circulation of the new note, you create scarcity. And normally when a commodity is scarce, people will be willing to buy it. People will be eager to sell. Those who want to profiteer, who lack the fear of God, who want to profiteer, they want to sell it. As free as water is, if there is scarcity today, you will buy it if it is offered to you.
Mr. Lano also enjoined the Apex Bank to give incentives to the patronage of cashless policies by improving network system and lowering the bank charges.
Because the CBN is trying to do two different things at the same time. You want to promote cashless culture in Nigerians. That's a cultural thing. You call it culture. It is not something you can achieve through a deadline spontaneously. It will take time. And there are things you have to put in place, alternatives, incentives for people to prefer cashlessness, like removing the cost of transfer, like making the applications for transfer efficient, and if possible, making laws that will make victims of app malfunctioning to deserve compensation by the banks. That if you make a payment, of course we have some laws like that. If you make a payment and it is not successful within a limited time, you have the right to make claim for compensation from the bank, so that the banks can sit up and do the needful. You are supposed to put all those things in place first before you can now gradually, even without telling anybody, you can gradually withdraw or mop up physical cash in circulation through the banking system.
In the same developments, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Usman Baba, has ordered full enforcement of the CBN Act 2007 that criminalizes the hawking and selling of the Naira notes. The Force Public Relations Officer, CSP Olumiyiwa Adejobi, said this in a statement in Abuja. He said that the IGP ordered the arrest and prosecution of all individuals engaged in the sale or abuse of the Naira notes issued by the CBN. The IG said that the order is in line with the provisions of Sections 20 and 21 of the CBN Act 2007 that criminalizes, amongst others, the hawking, selling, or otherwise trading of the Naira notes. He directed all supervisory assistants, Inspector General of Police and Commissioners of Police in charge of commands and formations to carry out the full enforcement. He also directed the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigations Department and the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Force Intelligence Bureau to effect the order. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke today paid an unscheduled visit to the Governor's office and the Government House. Governor's Office correspondent Abdurrahim Adekilekun has the report.
It was indeed a momentous Saturday when the Governor, His Excellency Senator Ademola Adeleke, left home to pay an unscheduled visit to the facilities of the state government, starting with the office of the Governor. It was like carnival when the Governor arrived into the premises of the Governor's office, Bolaige House, to inspect the level of job done as regards the ongoing renovation work on the building, built about 2 decades ago. On arrival, the top echelon of the civil service in the state, led by the head of service, Mr. Anyonleye Aina, welcomed the Governor, who was accompanied by the Secretary to the State Government, Alhaji Teslim Igbalaye, spokesperson to the Governor, Malam Rashid Olawale, Honorable Maruf Ayofe, Barrister Kamal Adekilekun, among others. The Governor was conducted around offices within Bolaige House, including the ESCO Chambers, Governor's Office Lounge, and anteroom, Deputy Governor's Office, and that of the SSG. After the inspection of the Bolaige House, where renovation work was still ongoing as at the time of the Governor's visit, the Governor's convoy left Bolaige House for the Government House, Okefia, where Senator Adeleke inspected various facilities within the premises. He took time to appreciate Government House workers and security officers who were happy to receive their governor at the least expected time. Part of the facilities inspected by the Governor was the Presidential Lodge, First Lady's Apartments, and Government House Clinic, among others. In Government House, It has been Abdurrahim Adekileku reporting.
Mock accreditation conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission was held today in the Federal Capital Territory. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, said the commission had taken delivery of the biomodal voter accreditation system machines for the election, which had been tested to ensure its functionality. The INEC chairman also noted that 12 polling units had been designated in each state of the Federation and 4 in the Federal Capital Territory on the equality of the country's 109 senatorial districts for the exercise. It was observed that one of the 4 designated polling units, Buhari Sariki in Buhari Ward in Buhari Area Local Council, recorded a low turnout of registered voters as of the time of filing this report. The Assistant Presiding Officer, Judge Abedu, who spoke to reporters, said voters were not aware of the mock exercise. The nationwide mock accreditation exercise organized by the Independent National Electoral Commission to test run the efficiency of the beavers was carried out in some 12 selected polling units in all the senatorial districts in Osun State. Osun Resident Electoral Commissioner Dr. Mutiu Agboke, who described the exercise as satisfactory, reiterating INEC's commitment towards conducting free, fair, and credible elections. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga now reports.
As the 2023 general elections is fast approaching, the Independent National Electoral Commission, as part of its preparations for the general elections, organized a mock accreditation exercise to test run the efficiency of the biomodal accreditation system, BVAS. The mock accreditation exercise was held in 12 polling units across the 3 senatorial districts in Osun State, which includes Osun Central, where they have Osogbo and Orulu local government areas, Osun East, where they have Ife Central and Ife North local government areas, and Osun West, where they have Egbedore and Ede North local government areas. Speaking with the members of the pen profession during his tour to the designated 12 polling unit in Osun State Resident Electoral Commissioner Dr. Mutiu Agboke maintained that the exercise is to test run the workability, durability, efficiency, and the credibility of the biomodal accreditation system, BVAS, before the election date. Dr. Agboke, who noted that the mock accreditation exercise is part of the preparations of the Commission towards the conduct of the 2023 general elections, added that the electoral umpire is working tirelessly to ensure free, fair, and credible elections in Nigeria.
This mock is a deliberate and conscious effort of the Commission to let us see how it's going to perform, how it's going to run, what is the speed, of the accreditation. And you could see most of the people that showed up for accreditation, they were accredited, within seconds, and it shows that even where we have crowd on election day, we can get them as fast as possible before they cast their vote.
Also speaking during the exercise, the electorates who were available during the mock accreditation exercise, including Mr. Oladipo Atoyebi and Mrs. Oluwayemi Ajayi, among others, maintained that the accreditation exercise was smooth and less stressful, adding that they got accredited between 10 seconds and 30 seconds.
It's a good thing. In fact, I thought as I was coming, is what will take my time. It's a short and very interesting process. The mock is nice.
We are expecting it to be more effective than this.
They enjoined the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to make the accreditation process less stressful and less wasting of time on the day of the election, noting that if the electorate are attended to with the same pace of the mock accreditation exercise, it will speak good for both the electoral umpire and the entire nation. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga, Osbc News.
We now go on a short break. Major Reports continues shortly.
Yesterday I got a call from Glow. I want a 3-bedroom bungalow.
Yes, guys! Guess what? I won a car. I won a generator by participating in the Festival of Joy promo by Glow.
Hey, don't do this one for me. Glow to make it set to me with sewing machine.
I won generator last year. This year I won for
It's a celebration like no other, with prizes like no other. 20 new houses to be won, 24 brand new cars, 200 sewing machines, 100 generators, 1,000 rechargeable fans. Glow Festival of Joy promo. Dial star 611 hash now.
The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria said that the prevailing shortage in the supply of premium motor spirits in the southeast may not end soon because of the challenges facing marketers in procuring products. The chairman of Ipman Enugu Depot community in charge of Anambra, Ebonyi and Enugu State, Chinedu Ayaso, said this in an interview with newsmen in Awka. It was reported that petrol sells for between 400 naira and 450 naira per litre and between 500 naira and 600 naira in the black market, depending on the time, while most fueling stations are closed for lack of petrol, and a few that are selling are doing so at a very high price with long queues. I also said the quantity of products entering into the southeast has reduced by more than 50% compared with what they usually got from depots. He added that nothing suggests the easing of the problems, as some of them were yet to get supplies they paid for over a month ago, unless the federal government effected a drastic action to flood the country with the product. The National Emergency Management Agency has brought back 1,003 Nigerians stranded in Niger Republic and Libya into Kano State in 2022. The coordinator of its Kano Territorial Office, Dr. Nuruddin Abdullahi, told the newsmen in Kano that the exercise had the backing of the International Organization for Migration. He said that the returnees were brought back from Agadez in Niger Republic, Khartoum, Libya and Chad under the care of International Organization for Migration through a voluntary repatriation program. According to Abdullahi, the program is designed for the distressed that left Nigeria to seek greener pastures in various European countries through the desert but could not afford to return when their trips became harrowing. He added that the 1,003 returnees received were 665 male adults, 113 female adults, and 225 children. You are welcome to our sports segment. Zambia in a fire-packed, hugely entertaining under-20 international friendly in Abuja as both countries ratcheted up their preparations for this year's African under-20 Cup of Nations starting in Egypt. Omotayo Adebodo has the rest of this story and more.
20-man national team Flying Eagles defeated Zambia 4-2 in an international friendly game played inside the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abuja. Both teams used the friendly as preparation for this year's CAF Under-20 African Cup of Nations in Egypt. Aliru Saki, Olamilekan Adams, Emmanuel Ogewuru, and Samson Lawal were the goal scorer for Ladamboso's men, while Moses Molenga and Lasmond Firi scored for Zambia. The Flying Eagles are in Group A at the Under-20 AFCON alongside host Egypt, Mozambique, and Senegal. They will open their campaign against the Senegalese on the 19th of this month. Zambia are in Group C with Gambia, Benin Republic, and Tunisia. This year's tournament, which will run from February 19 to March 11, will also double as the African qualifiers for the 2023 FIFA Under-20 World Cup, which will hold in Indonesia. The top 4 teams from the Under-20 AFCON will qualify for the World Cup. Meanwhile, former champions Golden Eagles will take on Zambia in their opening Group B game at the 2023 African Under-17 Cup of Nations. The Confederation of African Football (CAF) released fixtures list for the biennial competition. The Golden Eagles will play all their group games in Constantine. Nduka Udade's side opening game against Zambia is billed for Sunday, April 30. The Wafu Bay champions will take on Morocco in their next game on May 3rd before rounding up their group stage campaign against South Africa 3 days later. Algeria will host the competition from 29th of April to the 19th of May this year. The semi-finalists in the competition will represent Africa at the 2023 Under-17 World Cup in Peru later this year. In the meantime, a dramatic late goal saw Madagascar beat Niger Republic 1-0 and claim bronze medal in the third place match of the 2022 CHAN. A 90-minute goal earned Madagascar a first ever medal at the competition. The win means Madagascar are the first team to win a medal in their first appearance at CHAN since Nigeria in 2014. The home-based Eagle under late Stephen Keshi made their debut appearance at CHAN when they qualified for the 2014 edition in South Africa and went all the way to the semi-finals. Host of this year's edition, Algeria, will battle Senegal in the finals later tonight. Omotayo Adebodun, Osbc News.
Now moving on to the foreign scene. China has urged cool-headed handling of a dispute over a giant Chinese balloon heading for the eastern U.S. Kayode Adebayo has the details of this and more from our foreign desk.
China expressed regret on the balloon over the U.S., saying it was a weather airstrip that had been blown astray as it was last spotted over Missouri. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken earlier called off a visit to Beijing, saying the surveillance balloon's presence was an irresponsible act. Later, the U.S. reported a second Chinese balloon floating over Latin America. It is expected to reach America's east coast near the Carolinas in the weekend. The U.S. has decided not to shoot down the high-altitude airstrip due to the danger of falling debris. The incident comes amid fraying tensions between the U.S. and China. In a statement by the policy official, Wang Yi of the Chinese Foreign Ministry said Beijing never violated the territory and airspace of any sovereign country. Forecasters say the coldest wind chill ever has been recorded in the continental U.S. as an Arctic cold snap freezes a swath of North America. The National Weather Service said the icy gust on Mount Washington in New Hampshire produced a wind chill of 108 Fahrenheit. Nearly 100 million people across the northeastern U.S. and Canada are shivering in the frigid blast, while authorities warned frostbite could strike in less than 10 minutes. Residents from Manitoba to Maine are being urged to limit their time outdoors until further notice. The drop in temperatures is attributed to a powerful Arctic front that stretches from the Canadian maritime provinces to the core of the U.S. Power companies were expecting historic levels on energy consumption during the coldest period. In the meantime, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has dismissed one of his secretaries over homophobic comments that the premier called outrageous. Kishida said the remarks by Masayoshi Arai, in which he said he did not even want to look at married same-sex couples, were outrageous and incompatible with an inclusive society the government is aiming for. Kishida admitted that he made the decision to relieve the 55-year-old Arai of his position as secretary, who later apologized, saying his remarks were not appropriate, even if they were his personal opinion. The dismissal is a further blow to Kishida's government, which has faced plummeting approval ratings since last year. Meanwhile, Kishida has lost 4 ministers in just 3 months over allegations of financial irregularities or links to the controversial Unification Church. Kayode Adebayo, Osbc News.
And that ends the major reports on OSBC TV. It was edited by Kayode Adebayo. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola, wishing you a memorable night.